Flosstube, and welcome back to my channel. And I just want to say I hope you all had a lovely Christmas, because the last time I saw you was Christmas Eve, so I haven't seen you since then. So like I say, I hope you've all had a lovely Christmas and you've got a chance to spend it with friends and family, and that you kept safe and well. And can you believe that today is the last day of 2021? So it's New Year's Eve, the 31st of December. And I don't know where the year's gone. It's flown by, hasn't it? So in today's video, I am going to be sharing my 2021 WIP parade, all of my 21 projects, 13 of which are large full coverage pieces. And I only had one finish, which I will show you in a second. And I just want to say also from my last video, thank you so much to all of you, because I mentioned in my last video, if you hear of a Heaven and Earth sale, let me know. And then a sale happened that day. So thank you to everybody that reached out to let me know. And I did purchase one chart. I was very, very good. I only bought one chart. And I will show you that chart in my next video. So let's get started then. So this one is my finish. This one is my John Bon Jovi piece. This is the one I showed in my last video because I've only just finished it. And it looks awesome. It really does. Every time I look at it, I just think, gosh, how good does that look? And I will link it in the description down below of where I got this from. I did buy it as a kit, so the material and the floss came as a kit. And this is stitched on 14 count, 2/1. And I really enjoy stitching it, but it was one of those projects that just felt like it was going on and on and on and on and on. I do have other designs, not Bon Jovi designs, other designs from the same company. And I think what I'm going to do is swap the material out for some 20 count cream aider, because that's my preference. But it does look awesome. And in the new year, I am planning on giving him a bath and an iron so that I can frame him. I'm going to try framing him myself. I've watched some YouTube videos, and yeah, I just thought I would give it a go myself. So hopefully in the new year, I'll be able to show you this piece fully finished. So that, like I say, that one was my only finish in 2021. Now my next pieces, I'm going to be showing you these, my WIP parade, in the order in which I think I started them. And this next piece, which is Around the Year with Pooh, by, who is it by? Designer Stitches. Years ago, sort of late teens, I really loved Winnie the Pooh. And I don't anymore, basically. However, I really like this piece. And I just thought I really would like to get it finished. And there were two things stopping me. Number one was the chart. The chart was so small and I just couldn't see the chart properly. And the second thing was, every time I touched it, the material frayed, and all I needed to do was just spend a little bit of time serging the edges. So with the chart, I took a picture and I zoomed out. I took a picture on my iPad so I could zoom out, and then I was using my Apple Pencil to colour in the chart. So I got over that one and I serged the edges, and yeah, it's been so much better. So this is where I'm up to. And this one here is the one that I did this year, and it does have some back stitching. So what I was planning on doing was each time I do a box was doing the back stitching. So there is some back stitching in these ones that need to be finished. So I think next time I put it out, that's going to be my plan, to get this one finished and do the back stitching, and then do all the back stitching. So I haven't got all the back stitching left to do at the end. So that's that one, stitched on 18 count, 2/1. Like I say, it did come as part of the kit. I've still got all the floss. I've looked after it well all these years, but I would say it's definitely one that I started over 20 years ago now. So yeah, I really would like to work on these a bit more. And what I'm planning on, my non-Heaven and Earth ones, which we'll see as we go through, these ones I am planning on spending one day a week touching one of those projects to get them moved forward. I'm not saying I'm going to get them all finished. Some of them I really can get finished because they are so close, as you will see. But like I said, I'm just not, I'm not planning on getting them all finished, but I just think I need to move some of them, I need to move them all forward really. So the next one I started because I wanted to make it into a card, but I realised as I was stitching it that it wouldn't fit in the card, and I kind of abandoned it and haven't really touched it since. And there's a tiny amount to do. And this is Summer Basket by Ellen Morristrow. I don't have a completed picture of it, but that is what it will look like, and it's so much nearly done that you can see what it will look like anyway. So I think I've just got a little bit up here to do, and I think there's a little bit down here, and that is it. And I don't actually know why I've not finished it really. So what I've decided to do is to get it finished this year because I want to gift it to my mum. I want to get it washed, ironed and framed, and gift it to my mum for her birthday in May. So I need to get it done by then. So that kind of forces me to get this finished. But I really love the design, and there's no back stitching in it. No back stitching at all. And this is stitched on 18 count 2/1. You can see back then, or up until probably I started full coverage, that I really loved 18 count. That was my go-to. So this is another one that really needs to get done. The next piece, now I started this, I think 2011, 2012, and it is Wedding Happiness by Viveco. I don't know if I've said that right. There we go, that's what it will look like. And I actually started this because some friends of mine were going to get married, and sadly they called off the wedding and didn't get married. And so I stopped working on this piece. And I just haven't got it out since. I haven't, I've probably been to weddings in that time, but I just never thought about this piece. And unless I've really got a reason to stitch on this, I probably won't stitch on it at all. I don't know, I won't, never say never, but you know, certainly at the moment. So this piece is actually going into timeout. So which way up is it? This way. We go that way. So that's what I've done so far. I just, yeah, it's not calling to me. I don't feel like stitching on it, and yeah, it's not gonna happen really. But this is stitched on 18 count 2/1, and this one also came as a kit as well, so I've got everything I need for it. If I ever decide to pull it out again, but at the moment, no, not feeling it. So this one, like I say, going in timeout, my only project to go into timeout for next year. So just also, I just want to mention, apologies if I keep looking down, it's just because I've made loads of notes on all of my projects and I will never remember it all unless I write it down. My next project, one of my Dimensions Gold Petites one, and again this was one of my kind of like my favorite things to stitch on before I found Heaven and Earth, so I've got a few of these, but this is the one that I've got started, and it is called Travel Memories, and this is what it will look like. And this one in particular is, obviously you guys know I love anything French themed or Paris themed, so you can see why I absolutely love it. And I haven't touched it since last year, 2020. And this is where I'm up to. Now it is one that I would like to get going on again. So that's why I've decided, like I say, to spend one day a week doing non-full coverage pieces. However much time I get to spend on that, on those designs, that's what I want to do. So this is 18 count 2/1, comes as a kit, and yeah, that's all I can say about that one. So these next two are ones that I've done. They're all stitched. It didn't take long to stitch. They stitch up really quickly. And would you believe all that is left is the back stitching. And I'm sure I shared this last year in my WIP parade, which is why they've just got to get done this year. And these are my pink and blue booties. And I've even started the back stitching on that one. Yeah, but really good. And let me tell you, on these designs, the back stitching makes them. Really, really, really does. So again, these just need back stitching, washing, ironing, and then I was going to put them in cards ready to gift. Now the chart is from the Cross Stitcher magazine, but it is August 2007, so it's quite a while ago. And I don't know if I can show you the picture without showing you. No, I can't show you the picture. But yeah, that's the Cross Stitcher magazine that it's from, with the chart in. But like I say, just the back stitching, that is it. So my plan is to hopefully get them done, make these one of the first things that I touch in the new year, when I have my day, 1 day a week, where I am working on non-full coverage pieces. These are going to be my first ones. So that's my booties. They are, like I say, stitched on 14 count, 2/1, and I had the floss myself, so yeah. So then we come on to the start of my Heaven and Earth designs. And as you know, I found Heaven and Earth designs in June 2020. I started the Story Keep Life is an Open Book Paris, got that finished that year. And then I've just fallen down the rabbit hole of Flosstube and Heaven and Earth designs. So this is the first one of my 13 that I started. And this is Mini Virus Detected by Randall Spangler. And this is stitched on 20 count, 2/1, and this is where I am at now. Just looks so good, doesn't it? When you hold these Heaven and Earth designs back, you can really see how much you've got done. I was trying to go across here on the bookshelf, but oh my goodness, I was just making some really silly mistakes on it. The colours are so similar, and yeah, so anyway, I moved down to the more colourful section of it, but I do need to get back to this bookshelf and just finish it. But I'm going to come on to, at the end of this video, something about my style of stitching, which, yeah, come back to on that. But that is where I'm at, and I have completed 18.05% on that one. So then I started my ornament. Oh no, actually, before I move on with that, I just wanted to say with this one, this was the first one that I started that was 20 count Ada, was the Easy Grid, and my first pattern in Pattern Keeper. And I loved all three, and I think that's one of the reasons why I've started so many. When I first started my Paris, Story Keep Paris, Life is an Open Book Paris one, I had the chart on my iPad, and I was doing it like one 10 by 10 square at a time, but like diagonally, if that makes sense, with the squares. And I think if I'd have been doing every full coverage piece like that, there is just no way that I would have got my Paris one finisher quickly, and B, there's no way I would have started more than maybe a couple, because of the amount of time it would have taken to get done. And I felt it was really quite overwhelming starting a large full coverage piece in that way. But thanks to Pattern Keeper, my goodness, it, you know, really changed how many Heaven and Earth designs I do. So I'm just going to have a quick drink. My next one that I started, which I started in July 2020, was Ornament Healing Rose by Carol Cavaleris. And do you know, I can see a glare when I'm filming, and I'm really hoping you're not going to see that when I edit it, but anyway, hopefully not. This one though is I had all the material ready, and I was getting this one ready when I started my mini virus detected. So I had my 18 count Ada, but it wasn't gridded, so I gridded it myself. And I decided at the end of that one, never again was I going to grid the whole project again, because honestly, it was horrendous gridding. But I gridded it, and I'm pleased that I've gridded it. And this is my Ornament Healing Rays. Now, as you can see, I've jumped about a bit, purely because when I was doing some of the challenges in Enchanted Stitching challenges, some of them asked for colours, and I knew this one had a lot of colours, and again, thanks to Pattern Keeper, I was able to find those colours. So that's why I've jumped around a bit. But I've recently, I say recently, a few months ago, did this section, and I started to colour complete. I'm not sure if that's how I'm going to carry on doing it or not, really. I don't think I will. Again, like I say, I will mention at the end how I plan on doing my stitching moving forward. But yeah, this is my Ornament Healing Rose. 18 count 2/1. And let me have a look, how much have I done? I've done 21.43%. So this one has the most finished on it out of all of my Heaven and Earth designs. So yeah, who knows if it will be the next one to get finished. So let me put that down. Then I started in August 2020. I started Faces of Fairy 178. And as you guys know, I call this my pink fairy. And this one, back at the end of 2020, I started some projects with diagonal stitching, and this particular project I changed to that, so that's why you'll see some part threads and yeah, my diagonal stitching. I've since changed slightly the way in which I do my part threads and things with the diagonal stitching, but I still really like doing it like this. So this is where I'm up to. What I like about the diagonal stitching is that you get to do every single stitch. There's no stitches you need to go back to. Yes, it takes a lot of time with the threading the needle and going one by one, you know, across. Now I do mine in rows of 20 with my diagonal stitching, but I do like how the picture forms, and yeah, so I'm definitely going to be carrying on this diagonal stitching with this piece. But I have actually got to the end, so that's how, there we go, you can see, that's how wide it's going to be. So it's actually not the biggest of projects, biggest of full coverage pieces. But this one, how much have I done on this one? This one is at 12.20%. So moving on then to my next one, we have got Mini Mountain Cabin. And again, just because I had the material, I remember starting this like completely off the cuff. I wasn't planning on starting it. I just started it, and I had all the material. And this one I started on 18 count. That's what it will look like. I mean, isn't it gorgeous, that picture? Just like, when you hold it back, the colours. Just absolutely awesome. So this is where I am at. Now, I thought with this one I would colour complete. So I've completed one of the pink colours. That's why it's sort of, you can kind of see it's all over. But I didn't really like that. So then I thought, well, I'm going to go from one end to the other. And then I think I did a black for a challenge. And again, no, not really liking that either. So I'm going to change how I stitch, because there is a lot of confetti stitching in, as you know, in full coverage pieces. So anyway, that's what I've got done. I've just mainly got the sky done. I don't think I'm all the way over the, I'm not, definitely not all the way over to the side yet. But that's basically how much I've got done. I just love the colours in it. And I have stitched 6.18% on that one. So I think I started that one September 2020. So that's where we're up to next. So also in September 2020, I started my next piece, which was Mini Princess of the Sea. and it's by Donna Gelsinger. And if you've been with me for a little while, you'll know I started it on 25 count Ada, and I was stitching it 2 over 1/10 stitch, and I did about 5,000 stitches, I think. And oh my goodness, I looked at it one day and I thought, am I enjoying this? No. Can I see myself doing another 65,000 stitches in 10 stitch on this piece? And the answer was no. And I literally ditched it there and then. I had some 20 count Ada in my stash, so I restarted it in April this year, 2021, and that's how much I've got done so far. Not a lot. That is only 1.61%. But I just love this design, and I honestly, literally from the first stitch, I was just so happy that I changed to 20 count Ada. And I've seen a few people recently actually restart projects because they're not happy with the Ada count that they're working on. If you're not happy, there's no point in doing thousands and thousands of stitches if you're not happy. And that's why I restarted. So my go-to really is 20 count. I won't be starting any more projects on 18, or full coverage projects on 18 count, with the exception of one, and I'll explain why. But yeah, that's where I'm up to on Mini Princess of the Sea. So that's that one. Just gonna have another drink. For anybody that doesn't know, I do not drink tea or coffee. I only drink water, squash or milk. That's it. And I only like no added sugar squash. I'm really quite fussy with my squash. Anyway, I digress. So coming now on to December 2020. This is Quick Stitch Spirit of Winter Robin by, and again, apologies if I'm saying this name wrong. Is it Cairo Machete? I don't know how you say the name, but so apologies. But this is what it will look like. Now, this piece is a really sentimental piece to me, especially at this time of year. I won't go into why it's such a sentimental piece, but it does mean a lot to me, like I say, especially at this time of year. So I've been stitching on it even this week. Now, this was the first piece I started with diagonal stitching. I think I watched Ninja Stitching or Ninja Stitcher. I think that's her Flosstube name. And she does a lot of using the snake method of stitching. But she does it sort of like in straight rows. And I decided actually I wanted to do it diagonally, which is what I started with. And the snake method is literally, you do that stitch in that colour and then you move on and you do however, I do rows of 20 and I do all the stitches in that colour along that row, and then I park it in the next row down or wherever it needs to be parked. And if it's not within, I don't know, 1 or 2 blocks, then I end the thread and I do that across. And I really enjoyed it. But what I annoyed myself with sort of beginning of this year was, just because it wasn't going quick enough, I stopped. And you'll see here that I did my diagonal stitching. And then I went a bit rogue. And this row, I've literally just finished as a diagonal. So I went a bit rogue within here, but then I went back and did the diagonal because I just much prefer the way the stitches lay. So I feel personally for me that they are so much neater than when I go rogue, and I'm aware that it takes more time, but for me it's about how it looks now, not about the time. I was really, I don't know, I just got into a bit of a thing with it at the beginning of the year, like, oh my goodness, this is taking so much time, I need to change the method of which I'm stitching. But I actually really like the diagonal method. And I've also changed the way in which I cast off my thread. I've gone back to this way again. I think what you've got to do is find what works for you, and this is going to work for me. I'm not saying that it's going to be the way that I keep to the whole way through my project, but at the moment this is what works for me. So what I'm going to do is work on the diagonal, and I'm going to just kind of fill in the gaps with everything else I've done. And then hopefully it will get back to the diagonals. But yeah, that's where I'm up to. So Robin is stitched on 20 count, 2 over 1, and I have done 13.27%. Then I had a birthday start last year, and I decided to start the Story Keep Life is an Open Book New York to go with my Paris one. This is by Amy Stewart. So I again started it on the diagonal, and I have to say I have done so little on this throughout the year. That's all I've got done in a year, basically, because I've just had my birthday again, if I can hold it right. So that is all I've got done. Not a lot, but I'm almost getting the word Staten Island in. But it is looking great so far. So that is this one. Now this one is stitched on 18 count Ada, and I specifically chose 18 count Ada because my Story Keep Paris one was done on 18 count Ada, and there is another one that I'm gonna put with it. I'm gonna talk about that one in a second. And I just wanted them all to be on the same Ada, which was 18 count. So that's why this one is on 18 count. But this one is 6.94% done. Not a lot in a year, really, but never mind. Then, towards the end of 2020, I decided that I wanted to do a temperature piece. Many of you know that Sarah, Stitching Mummy, she has brought out lots and lots of beautiful temperature pieces to kind of chart the temperature for that year. And I decided for 2021 that I wanted to do my temperature tree. What I failed to do before the end of the year was get all of the tree done. So all I had to do was the leaves. So because I've had to do the tree as well, I've just, I don't even know if I've finished the tree. It's one of those things, I got so behind with it that put me off. So my advice is to get the tree done. If you're starting this tomorrow, because the first is tomorrow, the tree one, get the tree done as soon as possible. I will show you where I'm up to, not very far, but that is it. So I think I've just got to finish one more branch here, the December branch, and then I'll be fully caught up. And then I've got the leaves to do. Now I'm planning on doing another one, which I will talk about at the end. Not a tree one, one of her different temperature pieces. So I'm planning on doing that for 2022. And what I'm thinking is I'm just going to work simultaneously. I'm not going to beat myself up because I haven't got this one finished. It will get finished. I've got all the temperatures. I'm going to finish. That's one of my jobs today, is to finish writing all of the temperatures on my sheet that I've got, and I will just do as much as I can. It might even be that I work, I think I did all of January and I started February, so it might even be that I do, when I do my 2022 one, I end up doing this one as well, if that makes any sense. But that's where I'm up to with that one. So this is stitched on 20 count. Now it is like a pale blue, you can't really see, I don't think you can. It is a pale blue Ada. And I love it. And I've actually ordered the same Ada. I got it from eBay. I ordered the same Ada for my 2022 piece, so that they match. So yeah, looking forward to starting my 2022 piece, if I can get my words out. And I will tell you about that when I talk about plans. So then also in December, it wouldn't be Christmas without a Christmas piece, would it? This is another Gold Collection Petites, and it was Santa's Secret. I started this one thinking, oh yeah, it won't take me long to do. Yes, this is where I'm up to. I was put off a little bit because the face looks a lot darker in this than what it does in this. And I checked and double checked and triple checked the colours, and yeah, the colours were all correct. So we'll see. I'm going to, again, keep working on it. This is going to be one of the pieces that I spend some time on each week. I will touch a piece, and this might be one of them. Yeah, this is kit material, so it's 18 count Ada, and all of the floss was in the pack as well. So we will see how we get on with that one. So that was the whole of 2020. Then in 2021, I decided to go all out for my January the 1st start, and I decided to start a very large piece, my largest piece ever. It's got over 406,000 stitches, and it was my world travel bookshelf by Amy Stewart. And oh my goodness, I love the design on this piece. I love the design on this piece so much that I actually bought this as a puzzle and gifted it to my mum for Christmas. Because she loves doing the puzzles of the designs that I'm doing. And Amy Stewart has got some puzzles of her work. So yeah, my mum's busy. My mum's busy doing the puzzle of this one at the moment. I think she'll get that finished a lot quicker than I will get this stitched up. Now, this was another one that I started doing in the diagonal. And I thought, God, this is going to take me forever. It's so slow. I'm not getting much done. I need to change. I changed. I'll show you. I'll show you now. You guys will know, like I say, for those of you who've been with me, my boyfriend built me a frame for me to hold my stitching on, so I don't have to hold it in my hand. So I've got it on a really large frame, and literally the actual frame was made out of white piping. Is it like water pipes that you'd use for water pipes? I think that's what it's called. I don't even know what it's called, but the white piping of that's what it's made out of, with some corners, and he's glued those together. So he's made the frame a specific size, and then I've just used the tops of my Q snaps to put over the sides. So that's how it works. So that's why it's in such a big frame. If I can reach and get it. So this, let me rest it there. So this is where I am up to. So I basically did this diagonal, and I got to about here with the diagonals, and I decided from like this point onwards to not do the diagonals, because I thought, oh yeah, it'll be so much quicker, I can get loads done. Now, I am not happy with this lady's face. When I'm doing diagonals, as I've mentioned before, it is so much neater. And this lady's face I'm really not happy with, but I've decided in the grand scheme of the whole design, it's not worth worrying about. I know that I'm not happy with it, the way the stitches have gone, because when you are trying to get some of these ninja stitches in, it's actually quite difficult to get your needle in and out. So that's why I've gone back to diagonal stitching with this one. Yes, as I said, will it take me longer? 100%. But will every stitch look neater? Yes, and that's what I'm going for now. And I did this bit last night, and oh my goodness, I was so much happier doing this. I haven't touched this piece in so many months because I just wasn't happy with how some of the stitches were going. So anyway, I'm going to work on the diagonal, and when I get to about here where I've got some gaps, I will work across. I'll work it out so it's all done on the diagonal, but that's basically how I'm going to stitch it moving forward. And I think you've just got to do what you're happy with. So I'm just going to pop that down, because look, as you can see, such a big piece. Yeah, so just going to put that down. But I have done 2.19%, and that one is also stitched on 20 count, and it's 2 over 1. As you can see, I really do like my 20 count. So then I had a big gap, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to start any more Heaven and Earth designs. And yeah, that kind of went right out the window in May this year, because I happened to see on Heaven and Earth there was another sale, and I went and had a look. Big mistake. And I found this chart. It was called Story Keep Beach Bliss, and I ordered it, and it was only when I was printing it out did I realise that it was by Amy Stewart, and I'm really drawn to her pieces because I really love her pieces. But this is Story Keep Beach Bliss, and this is what it will look like. And I just had a little start with this one. And this was the first piece that I started that was not gridded. It wasn't on gridded fabric at all. It's just on a white 20 count Ada. And actually, I probably could do it like this. This is all I've done so far. Not a lot. I think it's only about 1,000 stitches. It's 0.98%. But this is obviously going to be a very long piece. It's not so wide, but it's very, very long. So again, I'm going to come back to my style of stitching with this moving forward. But this I really would like to get back to because I just love the bright colours. Amy Stewart's got some really gorgeous pieces that have got some fabulous colours in, and this is definitely one of them, although at the top, as you can see, there's a lot of green at the top. So then also in May, I started, let me put that with that so I know that goes with that. I started another one, which I wasn't planning on starting, but there was a sale going around and I had a look at the chart and I was like, oh my goodness, I love this chart. And it is Sunflower Cottage, and it is by Donna Gelsinger. I've got a lot of Donna Gelsinger designs. So yeah, I must really like her style as well. So yeah, Donna Gelsinger. And I didn't have all the colours, so I've only got a small start, but a start nonetheless. It's just so bright and vibrant and really lovely. And this one, again, stitched on 20 count, 2 over 1, just stitched on a white 20 count Ada, non-gridded. Oh yeah, and that's it. That's all I've done so far. I think there were some colours in these hearts that I didn't have, so I just kind of put it down for a bit. But it's one of those easy stitches, especially at the top where there's a lot of this blue. You can kind of just do row after row after row of it. But I have done 2.43%, so I'd love to get more done now. I've got these colours. I'd love to fill in some of these hearts. So that's that one. Then I started, when did I start this one? Let me have a look. I started this one in May as well. I had a bit of a boom of new starts in May. And let me tell you, these last few weeks that I've been working on this piece, I have become obsessed with it. I don't even know why. I just have. But this is a Christmas piece. And again, by Donna Gelsinger. And it's Minnie checking it twice. This one, yep, stitched on 20 count, 2 over 1. But it's like a pearlized, sparkly material. This is where I'm at. I've almost finished that wreath here. Yeah, again, non-gridded fabric. I've obviously gone from one side to the other side. And really loving it. How much have I done? I have done 8.59% and just really enjoy it. Now, somebody actually said to me, why have you done it on glittery fabric if it's full coverage? Because when I get it framed, I'm planning on having like a little border of the glittery fabric around it. So, but I just, honestly, when you hold these designs back, but I think what I love about this is even from the top, you can kind of start to see a bit of a picture forming. And yeah, really, really pleased. So that's that one. And then I started a chart. Now, I found this chart on Heaven and Earth Designs and I really liked it, but I didn't want to stitch all of the border. So I decided to crop it. Now, I've never cropped a Heaven and Earth design before. I wasn't sure how to do it, or even if I was doing it right. But this is You Make My Heart Melt. So imagine literally basically around the heart, the penguin feet. I don't even think I've got this heart in. Just the penguin feet and then back up again. That's basically what my design will be. I'm praying that I've cropped it right. So far it's working out well, but there's a lot of like background colours still. And so I started this on 20 count cream Ada. As you can see, there's like a lot of background still. There's not really much of a picture there at the moment. Bring it in a little bit. And then, because I mentioned that in one of my floss tubes, a lovely lady called Ashley, who is the Stitching Penguin on Flosstube, she reached out to me and said, actually, would you like to stitch it together? And I was like, yes. So she restarted hers and she's cropped hers as well. I'm not sure where her crop is. Exactly. I think hers is pretty similar to mine, actually, her crop. So we're stitching this together. Now, I haven't got very far on mine. I've actually only done 1.81%. But again, I think it goes back to, because there's not much of a picture forming as yet, although I think this is the start of the heart. And if that is, then obviously I will carry on working on that bit. I do really love the colours on this. And I just fell in love with the picture of the two penguins like that. So yes, definitely want to work on that one a bit more, which is why I've got it in my little Q-snap frame. So that was, when did I start that? I started that in June this year. And then for my birthday, I had another new start. Shock there with that. And this one was one of my first Heaven and Earth charts that I ever bought, and it was Quick Stitch April Ferry, and I've just seen so many people doing this. I just decided that this was going to be my birthday start. It is by Hannah Lynn. Such gorgeous colours, and I'm sure you guys, you're either stitching it or you know somebody that has stitched it. It's such a popular chart, and I have started this on like a pinky coloured Ada. I haven't done any more for a little while, but that's basically been my start, and I'm at 1.53% already. So I didn't have this purple here, but I've since got that colour now, so I can go back and fill that in. But yeah, really liking this. And like I say, I don't think you can see the pink. It looks a bit washed out, but it is a very pale pink, I would say. Material again, 20 count, 2/1, non-gridded. But yeah, really liking that. So that is sorry, that is all of my 21 WIPs. That is a lot. I've obviously gone a bit mad starting with my Heaven and Earth designs. That's okay. I have got well, moving on to plans now. I've got plans to start one more Heaven and Earth design this year, because I couldn't leave it at number 13 and have to even it out a bit. But I also want a New Year's start, and this one is going to be a smaller one. It's Story Keep Life is an Open Book London, which goes with my New York one, which goes with my Paris one. So I'm hoping to get this started tomorrow. I just need to serge fabric. As long as I can serge fabric, I will start this tomorrow and have that as my New Year start. Also in 2022, I want to start 2 more projects, and they are slightly different, which is, the first one I want to start is Winter Queen, my Mirabilia Winter Queen, and Sabrina. So they're the only 3 things that I have planned to start, with the exception of, many of you know I like to stitch like little cupcake designs and put them into cards. I want to do more of those for my friends' birthdays, friends and family birthdays next year. So I'm hoping to have a cupcake card design on the go at all times. So they're really the only things that I want to start. I also am planning on starting temperature typography. This is the picture that Stitching Mummy's been, Sarah the Stitching Mummy has been doing this year. So it's basically all the letters of the month, and each day is a different colour depending on the weather. But again, when I've started that, I will show you. Gosh, apologies, I've got such a tickly cough, not COVID, just a tickly cough. So that's going to be my new starts for the year, and they are really the only new starts I am planning on doing. I've got more than enough to keep me going. I would love to get my WIPs down to 20 or less in 2022. Now, in terms of what am I thinking? What am I calling? Facebook groups is what I'm thinking. Facebook groups that I'm going to be part of and actively doing. The only one I'm going to be doing is Full Coverage Fanatics. I've made a decision that this year, one of the reasons that I think kind of I was all over the place with my stitching and not got as much done was just because I was just so overwhelmed with groups and what I wanted to stitch and what I should be stitching and all of that. And I've taken all of that out now, because stitching is a hobby and it should be fun. And it got to some points in 2021 where it just wasn't fun. And I lost my stitchy bug at times. So I'm only going to be doing Full Coverage Fanatics. And I'm going to be working through today and tomorrow, printing out all of their sheets and what the plans are for the month. And I'm going to be putting those into my diary. And then around that, I'm just going to stitch on what I want to. I would like to be part of at least one challenge group. I'm not doing WIP Go for 2022. I'm just, like I say, just going to stick with Full Coverage Fanatics. I will let you know how I get on. If I find that because of my time constraints, because my time constraints are different to what they were at the start of 2021. Gosh, I'm so sorry, guys. I've got such a tickly cough. Yes, so anyway, my time constraints are so much different to what they were at the start of 2021. I don't know how much time I'm going to have moving forward. I definitely will make time for my stitching. 100% will make time for my stitching. But if I find moving forward that I haven't got time to do the Full Coverage Fanatics challenges each month, then I won't do them. I'll stop them and just do what I want to do. So I don't know how that's going to pan out, but we will see in 2022. And now, the other big thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be changing my method of stitching. On all of my gridded projects, I am mostly, with the only exception of maybe my mini virus detected, I'm going to be doing the snake method, the diagonal snake method. Purely because, number one, as I said, of the way the stitches look, and because of these ninja stitches as well, I just feel like it's my most enjoyable way of stitching. With all of the other non-gridded pieces, I'm still going to do the snake method, but I'm going to do it in the straight lines. And I might even do that for my mini virus detected as well, because I've got quite a bit done already. As I said, it's not a method that will suit everybody, but it's definitely a method that I am now preferring. So that's what I'm going to be working on moving forward. So I think I've gone through everything. I think this is probably one of my longest videos. So I hope you stuck with me to the end. I hope you've enjoyed seeing all of my different WIPs, and I hope you continue to stay safe and well, and I will see you in 2022. So for now, guys, bye for now and happy stitching. Bye.